So taking a look around now, the players getting ready to go in the second game. I see that starting pitchers are warming up right in front of us and about ready to go. So how about checking your own supply of fine gold Rheingold? Rheingold Extra Dry. Yes, sir. Put some Rheingold on ice because it can add a lot to your enjoyment of the game. Here's a beer with a clean, clear taste. Brisk and bright all the way through. Rheingold is beer should taste. Dry tells you why. Say, right now would be a good time to light up a Viceroy. Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. That's right. Well, let's check the starting lineups for the second game of this doubleheader. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, Maury Wills will lead off. He'll be at shortstop. Batting second, playing third base, Jim Gilliam. Batting in the third position in center field, Willie Davis. Batting fourth, playing left field, Tommy Davis. Batting in the fifth position at first base, Ron Fairley. Sixth batter will be Frank Howard at right field. And batting seventh, doing the catching in the second game, Norm Sherry. Batting in the eighth position, playing second base, Larry Burright. And on the mound for the Los Angeles Dodgers, John Padres. For the New York Mets, Elia Chacon will lead off and play shortstop. Batting second at third base, Felix Mantilla. In the third batting position in the batting order, playing first base, Gil Hodges. Batting in the cleanup spot, in left field, Frank Thomas. Batting fifth in center field, Jim Hickman. And the sixth batter will be Charlie Neal, just back from Texas. He'll be at second base. Batting seventh and doing the catching, Harry Cheedy. Batting in the eighth position in right field, Joe Christopher. And on the mound, pitching in the ball game, Bob Miller. He has won none and lost two. So about all set to go in this second game of the doubleheader. The Dodgers now have won all four ball games from the Mets that they have played this year. And it will be up to Bob Miller to see what he can do to stem the tide. Ralph Kiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from the Polo Grounds in the second game of the doubleheader. The Mets will play a night game tomorrow night with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and then the San Francisco Giants come into town for a night game on Friday night, a doubleheader on Saturday, and a single game on Sunday. If you haven't made arrangements to attend any of these ball games, you better get on it because time is running out. Big crowd here today. You can get your tickets at three locations. Here at the Polo Grounds 7 days a week, downtown at Grand Central Station, over on the Vanderbilt Ramp area side, or at the Pennsylvania Station in the Long Island waiting room. You can also make ticket reservations at all the Howard clothing stores throughout the area. And if you care to, you can mail in for your tickets. Write to Ticket Manager, care of the Polo Grounds, New York 39. Be sure to enclose your check or money order, specify the date and the number of tickets you want, and the ticket prices for box seats $3.50 apiece, for reserve seats $2.50. And enclose an extra 25 cents to handle the mailing charges. Now Bob Miller all set as Harry Cheedy throws down to Charlie Neal at second base. Over to Elia Chacon at shortstop, and back to Felix Mantilla at third and to the pitcher. And we're all set to go in the second game of the doubleheader. And the first batter will be Maury Wills. Maury had a big day in the first game, probably one of his career highs. 4 for 6, including 2 home runs, 1 inside the park. He is now hitting .251, and the first pitch to him a strike call. The 2 home runs by Wills, topping his career high. He had hit only 1 home run previously in the major leagues. Next pitch, a curveball, strike 2. So Bob Miller, a right-hander, out in front, 0-2 to Maury Wills as he leads off here in the first. It'll be Wills, Gilliam, and Davis here in the first inning. Dodgers won the first game, in case you're still just getting into the ball game. Next pitch to Wills in the dirt. Ball 1. Ball bouncing away from Harry Cheedy. Dodgers had 13 runs and 19 hits. The 19 hits exceeding the 18 they picked up against the Mets in Los Angeles. That's their season high. Curveball outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Maury Wills. The Mets had 6 runs on 13 hits, and the losing pitcher was Jay Hook. 25 pitcher, Sandy Koufax. Fastball just outside, ball 3, and Harry Cheedy turns around to home plate umpire Al Foreman. Asked where was it. So Miller 3-2 to his first batter, and a bouncing ball to second base. Charlie Neal up with it on the second hop over to Gil Hodges, out number 1. In the first game, Maury Wells led off with a single. So the Mets are ahead of their action in the first ball game. Now the batter, Jim Gilliam. Gilliam 1 for 2 in the first ball game. He was taken out for a rest, and Andy Carey filled in for him. Left-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher. And the first pitch to him, ball 1. Gilliam batting .270. Miller back to the plate with a fastball. Call strike 1. The 1-1 pitch is high inside for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. With a no windup delivery, throws a curveball that's just a little bit high as Gilliam starts to swing and then holds off. So now he's down to 3 balls and 1 strike to the second man here in the top of the first. No score in the game. Miller with a deep breath and a 3-1 pitch, and it's low inside for ball 4. That's the first base runner in the ball game, and the batter now is Willie Davis. Willie Davis, 3 for 6 in the first ball game, batting .333. Willie had a home run and 2 runs batted in. His 7th of the season. He's a left-handed batter with good speed. First pitch to him, a curveball, and it bounces off the plate up into the chest of Harry Cheedy. Davis started down the line. He was attempting to bunt. At first base, Junior Gilliam. The count, no balls and 1 strike. Next pitch is again in the dirt, dug out by Harry Cheedy, but this time Davis didn't go for it and foul it, so the count now 1 ball and 1 strike. One out. Jim Gilliam at first base. Top of the first inning, no score. Dodgers have now won 9 straight ball games, and they have won 17 of their last 21. And that actually sets their all-time winning record to throw to first base, but Gilliam back since they have left Brooklyn. Gilliam goes. The pitch is grounded foul down the first base line. So Gilliam will have to return the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. In that first ball game, Koufax struck out 10 batters. So he has now struck out 10 or more batters in 35 games in his major league career. And he has done it 4 times here in 1962. He also pitched his 3rd complete game win in the first game. His record now, 7 wins and 2 losses. With a quick throw to first base, but Gilliam again back in time. Next pitch to Davis, hit to Hodges, a great backhand play to throw to second base to Chacon in time for the forced play. Gil Hodges, a fabulous backhand stab of that hard hit ground ball. A shot, and all Gil had time to do was stick out his glove as he backhanded it, one-handed it, then threw over to Chacon, covering at second base for the force out. Exchanging at first base with Jim Gilliam now, Willie Davis, and the batter is Tommy Davis. 5 in the first game. Batting .324. He's a right-handed batter, playing in left field. A throw to first base, but really a step away, back safely. Again a throw over there, and this time Willie Davis has to go in on his hands and knees. First pitch to Tommy Davis, a curveball. It's in the dirt, dug out by Harry Chidi. Ball 1. No score in the game, top of the first inning. Throw to first, and this time Willie Davis slides back in his belly. But he's safe. Hodges tagging him right on top of the head, very lightly in a jovial jet. One ball and no strikes, and there goes the pitch, and it's hit on the ground. As Chacon's right on through off the glove into shallow left field. Willie Davis rounding at second base, holds there. Chacon recovers in a hurry. That was a tough chance, and with Tommy Davis, a fast man, moving down the line towards first base, Chacon had to hurry the play, and in attempting to hurry it, he's charged with an error. So now runners at first and second base with 2 outs, and the batter is Ron Fairley. Fairley was 3 for 5 in the first game. And he hit his first home run of the 62 season. Also drove in 2 runs. And one of his base hits, keeping his consecutive game hitting streak going at 11. He's batting .347. Time called as Harry Chidi now goes out to talk to Bob Miller to straighten out the sign. Dodgers have really been red hot in both the pitching department and also the hitting department. Getting fine pitching and tremendous hitting here in their 9-game winning streak. First pitch to Fairley, a curveball dug out by Harry Chidi, ball 1. And second and 2 out as Miller returns to the plate with a changeup that's again low, ball 2. No score in the game on a bright, sunshiny day at this point. Shadow extending across in front of the pitcher's mound to home plate, and of course back of home plate, but all the rest of the field practically in brilliant sunlight. First base is a left-handed batter. And now Miller back to him, way inside, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. And the on-deck batter is Frank Howard. Willie Davis at second base. At first base, Tommy Davis. They're not related. And 2 men are out. Leo DeRocher at third base, looking for any action from the bench. And the 3-0 pitch is swung on and popped up down the left field line. It's a long run for Thomas. He can't get to it, and it's going foul. Though Thomas, playing a left-handed batter in left center, had to go about 150 feet to get to that ball, and he couldn't get to it as it dropped in foul territory about 15 feet from the foul line out in the left field corner. So that makes the count 3 balls and 1 strike, and the runners return to second and first base. And again, Leo DeRocher giving the sign as to whether or not he'll be hitting. Just about half the figure. If he's hitting 3-0, he'll be hitting 3-1. Greg Malevy, the first base coach, now time called as Fairley steps out of the batter's box. Fairley, a bonus boy from the University of Southern California. Now Miller to the left-handed batter, and the next pitch is lined on the left field line. It could go all the way, ball game, 3-0 in favor of the Dodgers in the top of the first. Now Frank Howard. Howard playing in right field, a right-handed batter. And he's batting .318, had 3 for 5 in the first game. Bob Miller with the first pitch, a curveball, strike call. Well, that home run by Ron Fairley off of the scoreboard, right down the left field line. It was a line drive, but an opposite field home run. His second of the year. Now Miller back to Howard over the top of the fastball. It's down low, ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again to Howard with a good curveball, swung on a miss, strike 2. Curveball on the outside corner, right at the knees. Well, Fairley in the first game drove in 2 runs. He now has 5 RBIs for the day. He is really red hot. Curveball, a check in the swing. It's off of the bat foul, and Harry Cheaty's hit on the meat ham, but not seriously. So the count will hold at 1-2. And that home run by Fairley, keeping his consecutive game betting streak going. He now has hit in 12 consecutive games. That's an all-time high for 62 for a Dodger. 1-2 pitch to Howard. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and that retires the side. First strikeout by Bob Miller. In the inning for the Los Angeles Dodgers, 3 runs on 1 hit. There was 1 walk, 1 error, no one left in the score. At the end, 1/2 inning to play with the Mets coming to bat for the first time. The Dodgers 3, the Mets nothing. That's right, and all set to go here after the first 1/2 inning to play. And on the mound for the Los Angeles Dodgers as they lead 3-0 is Johnny Padres. Padres has a record here this year of 3 wins and 3 losses. He was 18-5 in 1961, which was the top percentage gathered in by any pitcher in the National League. And his first pitch will be to Elio Chacon, and Chacon takes down low, ball 1. Padres worked 7 innings against the Mets out of Los Angeles and was not involved in the decision. He was pitching that time against Bob Miller, the same as today. Chacon takes outside, ball 2. Chacon, who had a perfect day in the first game, 3 hits and 2 walks. He was on base 5 times, batting .262. Padres again low, ball 3. Three balls and no strikes, and the 3-0 pitch to Chacon is outside, ball 4. So Chacon walks. The Mets need 3 to tie as they bat in the bottom of the first. And the batter now, Felix Mantilla. Felix Mantilla, 1 for 5 in the first game, playing at third base in the second. He's batting .302 for the year. Right-handed batter. And Elio Chacon on at first base. The on-deck batter, Gil Hodges, in a 3-0 game. Next pitch. And the first pitch to Mantilla is low, ball 1. A curveball breaking below the knees. So now 5 consecutive balls thrown by Johnny Padres as he starts off the first. Padres needs only 4 strikeouts to reach the 1,000 mark. Padres back with a strike. His first one. 1 ball, 1 strike. With a short lead at first, now moving off further, and the 1-1 pitch to Mantilla is swung on, foul tipped into the catcher's glove. John Roseborough, strike 2. Roseborough caught in the first game and was relieved when Norm Sherry came in after the Dodgers took a commanding lead. Dodgers won the first game, 13-6. Now the left left-hander back to the plate with a curveball. Hit down the third base line, but foul. Gilliam, a good play, flips to second base, but the third base umpire, Ed Sudol, signaling a foul ball. Chacon returns to first base to count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Padres checking Chacon. Now comes to the plate with a fastball. It's foul back on the screen, so the count will stay at 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Dodgers got off to a 3-run lead in the top of the first when a walk and an error set up 2 base runners, and Ron Fairley hit a 3-run home run to the opposite field. Padres back to Mantilla, and it's down low, ball 2. Padres has a 5-2 lifetime record in the Polo Grounds. His last 2 starts there in the Polo Grounds in 1957 were shutouts, 5-0 and 3-0. And so to first base, but Chacon back safely. He's won all of his games this year on the road. He can't win at home. Next pitch to Mantilla, pulled foul. So the count will stay at 2-2. Here on the road, Padres won 10 and lost 1. Padres, one of the best change of pace pitchers in the game. He's always had a great one. Throws a good curveball. He's sneaky with the fastball. The 2-2 pitch to Mantilla. Hit off the handle out toward shortstop. High in the air. Wills moving back in the grass about 10 feet. And he makes a catch, and a lot of white showing on that one as it went into the web of his glove. The shortstop, third baseman, and left fielder have to battle the sun here at the Polo Grounds, especially late in the game like right now. So 1 man is out, and Gil Hodges is in. The first ball game was 1 for 3. He was taken out for a rest. And the 1 hit is 367th Major League home run. That was his 6th of the season. Gill at first base, a right-handed batter. First pitch to him by Padres, a slider up high, ball 1. Still loaded with fans, a very, very near capacity crowd, if it isn't a capacity crowd. Hodges takes low, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Back to Gill with a curveball that breaks over for a strike call. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out. It's a 3-0 game, Dodgers. Bottom half of the first inning. Hodges again takes a curveball, called strike 2. Johnny Padres now evening the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Elio Chacon at first base. The 2-2 pitch to Gill is just outside, a fastball, ball 3. So now the count all the way down the line. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. And Gil Hodges looking for the sign to indicate whether Chacon will be going on the pitch or not. Salihemus giving the sign there. At first base, Cookie Lavagetto. The on-deck batter, Frank Thomas. Left-hander into the stretch. Chacon goes. The pitch is swung on and fouled away. So Elio will return to first base to count will stay at 3-2. Dodgers trail the San Francisco Giants by 1 1/2 games. They're in second place. The Giants won today 4-3 in 12 innings. Miller, the winning pitcher. 3-2 pitch again. Hit on the ground as the runner goes. Gilliam can't handle it. And Hodges is safe at first base. Junior Gilliam at third base and trying to hurry to see if he could get Chacon at second. Couldn't find the handle. He reached for it several times, and the ball got away from him. It's an error. Have the identical situation that the Dodgers had in the first inning. The Dodgers got runners on a walk and an error. And here the Mets have runners on a walk and an error. And the batter is Frank Thomas. Frank 1 for 4 in the first game, kept his consecutive streak going. First pitch to him is a strike called in the inside corner. So Frank now has hit in 18 consecutive games. That's the longest in the National League this year. And he's batting .333. Mets need 3 to tie, so Thomas represents the tying run. Audrey's back with a fastball that's inside. Ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Dodgers putting on the Thomas shift to move the second baseman over in the shortstop side. They have 3 men on the left field side of second base. And the 1-1 pitch to Thomas. It's a called strike at the knees. A fastball through in the outside corner. So Padres now out in front. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Runners at first and second. Elio Chacon at second base. And Gil Hodges at first. The shadow has moved behind the pitching mound, so it's easier on the batter. Now the 1-2 pitch. A swing and a foul out of play. So Thomas keeps it going at 1 ball and 2 strikes. The on-deck batter is Jim Hickman. Johnny Padres, the veteran of many seasons for the Los Angeles Dodgers, into the stretch position, checking the runners, and back to the plate with a curveball, swung on a miss, strike 3. Padres picks up his 997th strikeout in his Major League career. Thomas for the first time. That's out number 2. And the batter now, Jim Hickman. Jim had 2 hits and 5 times up in the first ball game. He's batting .257. Playing in center field, a right-handed batter. Well, the Dodgers scored their 3 with 2 outs. It's 2 outs now for the Mets. The bouncing ball hit down to third. Gilliam charging is up over to first base in time. So Padres, after a walk and an error, working himself out of the jam. In the inning for the New York Mets, no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 walk, 2 men left to score at the end of 1 inning to play. The Los Angeles Dodgers 3, the Mets nothing. Let's check the scores right now and see exactly where everybody stands. Pittsburgh won the first game, the only game they played today, 3-1 over the St. Louis Cardinals. Washburn the loser, the winner was Francis. Cincinnati over Milwaukee in the first game, 4-3. The winner was Paget. Oh, this is wrong. The winner has to be Sisler. The losing pitcher was Paget. 4-3 Cincinnati. In the second game, Cincinnati at the end of 1.5, all tied up with Milwaukee. Grabowski going for Cincinnati. Curtis going for Milwaukee. San Francisco 4-3 over Philadelphia in 12 innings. Miller the winner, Short the loser. And in the second game, San Francisco out in front 4-0 at the end of 1.5. McCormick going for the Giants. Hamilton started for Philadelphia. Green came in the second. And Houston at Chicago. That game now all tied up at the end of 10 innings. Jesse now pitching for Houston. Elston is in for the Cubs. In the American League, Detroit defeated Chicago 7-3. In the second game, it's Holland and Jones going. Cleveland 7-0 over Baltimore. In the second game, Baltimore 1-0 at the end of 4.5. Chapman and Brown. And And the Yankees 10-1 over Minnesota. The winning pitcher Stafford, the losing pitcher Bonikowski. And Washington out in front of Kansas City by a score of 8-0 at the end of 8. Austin pitching for Washington. And right here it's a 3-0 game as we move to the top of the second. And John Roseboro is the first batter. And the first pitch by Bob Miller to Roseboro is outside, ball 1. Takes the next pitch, a strike call. 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be Roseboro, Larry Burwright, and Johnny Padres here in the top of the second inning. The Dodgers lead it 3-0. Next pitch to John, a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. For 4 in the first game. Now swings and fouls the next pitch away, and the count now will stay at 1-2. He's batting .267. Bob Miller back to the plate to Johnny Roseboro, left-handed batter, and he misses outside for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the first inning gave up 3 runs on 1 base hit, but it was a big one. Fairley, the first baseman, hit the left field, a 3-run home run. Now the right-hander to John Roseboro with a curveball, got him looking, strike 3. So Miller picks up his second strikeout in the ball game. Out number 1 in the second inning, and the batter now, Larry Burwright. 2 in a row for Miller on strikeouts. And Burwright steps in. Burwright playing his first season in the major leagues, batting .314. Right-handed batter, and he takes a curve for a strike call. Miller back to the right-handed batter with a curveball, swung on a miss, strike 2. Had 1 hit in 5 trips to the plate in the first ball game. He got off to a fine start. Now the 2-strike pitch, a curveball inside, ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bob Miller back to the plate, low, ball 2, 2-2. Outfield playing Burwright straight away. Mantilla guarding the line at third. The 2-2 pitch is fouled away. And while we have time, we pause for station identification.
At the 810 spot on your radio dial, this is WGY Schenectady.
Kiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from the Polo Grounds in the second game of a doubleheader. And the 2-2 pitch to Burwright is hit in the air, high to center field. Moving over, Hickman, but now Christopher calling, and he makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the second inning. And the batter is Johnny Padres. A 190 batter, bats from the left-hand side. And the first pitch to him, curveball breaking over, strike 1. Miller throwing a lot of breaking balls here in this second game. Jay Hook started the first game, which the Mets lost. He was the losing pitcher. He worked only 2 innings, and his record now 3-5. 1-strike pitch, a curveball hit down to Hodges at first base. He gloves it, makes the short run to first base to retire the side. So the Dodgers, after scoring 3 runs in the first inning, out 1, 2, 3 in the second, and the score at the end of 1 1/2 innings of play. The Dodgers 3 runs, the New York Mets none. Ask any manager in any league, and he's sure to agree the true test of a good hitter really isn't his batting average against second-string pitching. No, sir. It's how well he does against the ace pitchers around the league. And top-flight competition is the true test of a cigarette, too. That's why I say, smoke all 7 leading filter cigarettes. You'll find some taste too strong. They might as well not have a filter at all. Others taste too light. They take off 1,000 against all comers. Because Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
If your filter cigarette is tasting too strong, don't you sometimes wonder if your brand is wrong?
Well, Viceroy tastes the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong.
Not too light. Viceroy's got
The taste that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right, and all set to go here in the bottom half of the second inning. And the batter will be Charlie Neal for the New York Mets. Charlie just returning from Longview, Texas, playing for the first time in the doubleheader. And the first pitch to him is a ball high. Charlie's uncle, who actually raised him down in Texas, died a couple of days ago, and Charlie attended the funeral. He arrived during the first game. He did not have a chance to take batting practice, but he was available for duty. Johnny Padres again high, ball 2 to Charlie Neal. Charlie batting .273. It will be Charlie Neal, Harry Cheedy, and Joe Christopher here in the bottom half of the second. The Mets need 3 to tie. Padres with a fastball, a big swing by Charlie Neal, strike 1. Now Padres back to the right-handed batter, and it's low inside, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike, and now Charlie looking down for the sign. And 1 strike. And the next pitch to Charlie Neal is outside, ball 4. That's the second walk issued by Johnny Padres. And it brings up Harry Cheedy. Harry 0 for 3 in the first ball game. He's batting .308. He came in the first game in relief of Sammy Taylor. Actually came in as a pinch hitter for Sammy Taylor and then stayed in. He's a big fellow wearing number 44, batting for the right-hand side. Padres checking the runner, comes to the plate with a fastball, a check swing, and it goes out of play for strike 1. Now Big John back to the plate. It's a fastball, called strike 2, catching the outside corner. So Padres now with a big edge. No balls and 2 strikes to Harry Cheedy. The stretch and the pitch back to the plate is just low, just below the knees, ball 1. 1 ball and 2. Tomorrow night, a night game with the Los Angeles Dodgers here at the Polo Grounds. Then it will be the San Francisco Giants for a night game on Friday night, a doubleheader on Saturday, and a single game on Sunday. Cheedy with a line shot to Burwright. He can't find it, then picks it out of his arm and gets the ball with a fly. Diving back into first base is Charlie Neal. So Cheedy hit a line shot. The ball hit high in the glove of Burwright, the second baseman, then rolled up into his chest and on his arm. He finally found the ball before it hit the ground to get Cheedy on the line drive, but it allowed Charlie Neal to slide back into first base safely. He had a chance, if he fielded the ball cleanly, to double up Neal at first. And now coming in, the batter's box is Joe Christopher. And Rod Canneel going out to first base as Cookie Lavagetto talks with Charlie Neal. Neal with a towel that Canneel brought out to wipe all the dirt out of his eyes. He really took it back in there on a belly slide. Tough break for Harry Cheedy. The ball was very well hit. So the line drive turned into 1 out, and the batter, Joe Christopher. Joe had a big day in the first game. He had 3 hits and 5 times up. 3 consecutive singles off Sandy Koufax. A throw to first base, Neil back safely. Joe now batting 194 with a 3 for 5. 3-0 game, Dodgers. The first pitch to Christopher is a curveball. He pulls it, a line shot foul down the left field line. It'll go as strike 1. Christopher has looked very good swinging here in this doubleheader. Got off to a slow start. He had 2 hits in his first 20 times at bat for the Mets. Now Padres back to the plate with a fastball. It's fouled over towards the right side and out of play. So John with a 2-strike count on Joe Christopher. Joe batting in the 8th position in the batting order. Charlie Neal at first base, and the 2-strike pitch is low, a curveball down in the dirt. Promises to be an all-star cast for the old-timers game at the Polo Grounds on July 14th. Mark that date down. Players of the old New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers are going to be invited here to play in a 2-inning game prior to the regularly scheduled game that afternoon between the Dodgers and the Mets. 1-2 pitch to Christopher outside. Ball 2. And 2 players for that game on July 14th. Already accepting their invitations, and I'm sure you don't need 2 guesses to know who they are. The 2 principal characters in the ballgame. Ralph Baranka and Bobby Thompson. 1 out, 2-2 pitch to Christopher. Again low, ball 3. So now Johnny Padres, after getting 2 quick strikes, all the way down the line to Joe, 3 balls and 2. Charlie Neal could go, although the Mets trail by 3 runs. The idea, if he does go, is to stay out of the double play, not to steal second base. Padres looking at first now, throws there, and Neal gets back easily. Padres starts to get into the set position, but Christopher stepped out of the batter's box. So Padres reset. Now the 3-2 pitches. Neal goes, is hit down to the shortstop, whirls up and over to second base in time, but the throw to first base not in time. And the fact that Charlie Neal was going, and it allowed him to get to Burright at second base to help take him out of the play and slow the throw down to first base, and Christopher stays out of the double play. It's an exchange of runners at first base. 2 men out now, and the batter will be Bob Miller, the pitcher. Right-handed, batting 200 for the year. Now at first base, Joe Christopher, and the first pitch to Miller is swung on and fouled straight back for strike 1. Padres with a runner at first base, a 3-0 lead. And the 1-strike pitch to Miller is high for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. And a throw to first base, barely almost losing it. Had his hack knocked askew as he tried to make the tag on Joe Christopher. Roseboro likes to throw down to first base. Sort of like Roy Campanella. Curveball that's popped up in the air. The third baseman, Junior Gilliam, coming in towards home plate. Now right on the line, and he makes the catch in fair territory for out number 3. In the inning for the New York Mets. No runs, no hits, 1 walk, 1 man left. And the score at the end of 2 innings of play. The Los Angeles Dodgers 3, the New York Mets nothing. After 3 innings of play, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, 0-0. Grabowski and Curtis. San Francisco Giants after 2.5, leading 4-0. McCormick and Green. They won the first game 4-3 and 12. They still lead the National League by 1 1/2 games over the Dodgers. And at the end of 11 innings, Houston at Chicago. Chacon, a good play. The overhand throw high, but Hodges stays on the bag. Gil Hodges shifting across the bag, went high in the air to pull it down, and Wills, the fast man, is out. So Maury Wills with a big day in the first game, 4 for 6, now out twice in a row in this ball game as the Dodgers lead 3-0. And the batter coming in is Jim Gilliam. Jim walked in the first inning. He's batting .270. Miller with a fastball that's low inside for ball 1. Miller through 2 1/3 innings has given up only 1 hit. So that was a 3-run home run by Ron Fairley for the only runs of the game. Curveball that hangs high for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. To Junior Gilliam, and he takes a slider that's over for a strike call. Now the 2-1 pitch to Jim, and it's a called strike at the letter. It's a fastball. So Miller now has worked the count up to 2 balls and 2 strikes. The on-deck batter, Willie Davis. This is Bob's 5th appearance as a starter. And the 2-2 pitch to Gilliam, a curveball that's fouled away. So the count will stay at 2-2. Nice catch by a boy in the front row of the upper deck. Now he's really getting it going over from about 10 other kids with him. Being pounded on the back and on top of the head. Doesn't pay to play. The 2-2 pitch to Gilliam, swung on and fouled straight back. So for the second time, Junior stays alive. In the first ball game, manager Casey Stengel had to start the game with Jay Hook, and then he used the hook on 3 other pitchers. He used a total of 4 pitchers in the ball game. Dave Hillman, Bob Moorhead, and Vinegar Man Mizell. Again, the 2-2 pitch. A bouncy ball hit down to second base. Charlie Neal over on the easy grounder. Throws to Hodges in time. Getting him out by 3 steps. 2 men out now, and the batter's Willie Davis. Willie got first base in the first inning when he hit into a forced play. Gilliam was out from Hodges to the shortstop, Chacon, on the play. And then Willie scored in front of a 3-run home run by Ron Fairley. 0 for 1 in this game. He was 3 for 6 in the first. Came into the game at .333. He's a left-handed batter. And the slow curve to him is popped straight up. The catcher, Harry Cheedy, in foul territory, is over under it. Waiting, and he makes the catch. And that retires the side. And so for the second straight inning, Bob Miller gets the side out, 1-2-3. And the score at the end, at 2 1/2 innings of play. The Los Angeles Dodgers 3, the New York Mets nothing. You know, I can say this, and I'm sure that about 45,000 people here at the Polo Grounds can say the same thing. It's sure good to see National League Baseball back in the Polo Grounds. This stadium and baseball go together like Rheingold and refreshment. Know something else that goes together? How about Rheingold and baseball? Now there's a great combination too. Yes, sir. Nothing adds quite so much to your enjoyment of the game as a cool, refreshing glass of Rheingold Extra Dry. Because Rheingold has a taste all its own. It's beers should taste. And Dry tells you why. It tells you that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costly way for a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean, clear through. Brewed extra dry to be extra refreshing. Why not enjoy a glass right now, along with the game? You'll join the millions who say, my my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Moving along now to the bottom of the third inning as the Mets come to bat, and their first man will be Elio Chacon. He has now been on base 6 consecutive times for the Mets, 5 times in the first ball game and once in this one. Batting .262. And the first pitch to him, a strike call. Johnny Padres on the mound, working with a record of 3 wins and 3 losses. Now the left-hander back to Chacon, a right-handed batter, and a ball hit on the line to left field, coming over Tommy Davis, and he catches it right at his knees. So Elio Chacon finally out after 3 base hits and 3 walks. As he hits the ball well to left field, but Tommy Davis tracked it down. 1 man out now, and Felix Mantilla the batter. Mantilla flat out to the shortstop, popped up to the shortstop. Now swings and lines one to left, a base hit. Coming over Tommy Davis, he is up with it and holds Mantilla at first with a single. That's the first hit of the ball game off Johnny Padres. Felix Mantilla at first base, and the batter now is Gil Hodges. Gil with a home run in the first game and 3 times up. 0 for 1 in this game. He was safe in an error by the third baseman. Playing at first base, batting right-handed. And Johnny Padres with a curveball hit the right field. It could be a home run. And there it goes. Home run for Gil Hodges. Going from first base, Felix Mantilla. Now coming around from third and scoring. Gil Hodges with his 368th home run in his major league career. And the score of the ball game now 3-2 Dodgers. Now the batter Frank Thomas. And the first pitch to Frank, a fastball that's low, ball 1. Well, Gil Hodges putting the Mets back in the ball game with a 2-run home run. The score now 3-2 at the end of 2 innings officially of play. 2.5 innings. The next pitch to Thomas is a strike call. 1 ball and 1 strike. Thomas batting .333 at the start of this ball game. Takes down low for ball 2. Frank was out swinging in the first inning. He needs a base hit to keep his consecutive game streak going. He has hit in 18 consecutive games. Padres with a fastball. It's hit hard to the ground. Timoy Wells, the shortstop. He goes over to the first baseman in time for out number 2. 2 men down now. The score is 3-2 in favor of the Dodgers, and Jim Hickman comes in. Hickman, a right-handed batter, playing in center field. 0 for 1 in the ball game. He grounded out to third, and the first pitch to him is a fastball called strike 1. Houston and Chicago still all tied up after 12 innings. 6-6. Change of pace, a good one, but it's too low. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Padres back to Hickman with a fastball. It's hit deep to left field. Really deep. It's going to go all the way, and there it goes. As long as any that has been in here this year. That's his 7th of the season. The ball game is all tied up at 3-3. inning as the Mets fight back as they try to get back in the ball game. And the batter now, Charlie Neal. And the first pitch to Charlie is low and outside, ball one. Charlie walked in his only appearance today. And the next pitch to him, curveball, swung on a miss. Strike one. One ball and one strike. While nowhere in any ballpark have ball players ever received such enthusiasm. And they certainly appreciate it. There's a swing and a miss, strike two. One ball and two strikes. If there's anything that can keep a ball player going in spite of the adversity he might be facing, it's to have the fans behind him. And a capacity crowd here today really pulling for the Mets to get back and take this second game. Padres back to the plate with a curveball. It's low. Ball two. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the left-hander to Charlie Neal. A hard smash at the shortstop on one bounce. Wells takes it, throws to first base, and he gets his man. Charlie Neal hitting the ball well, but right at the shortstop, Maury Wills, and that retires the side. In the inning for the New York Mets. 3 runs on 3 hits. A home run by Gil Hodges, a home run by Jim Hickman. And no one left. And the score at the end of 3 innings of play. The New York Mets 3, the Los Angeles Dodgers 3. Well, Lindsey Nelson, I was just remarking about the enthusiasm of the crowd here for the ball players. And it's just amazing to me as a ball player, an ex-ball player, the tremendous enthusiasm shown by the fans here in New York City. I'm sure that it's got to be the greatest that has ever been shown anywhere in baseball.
No question about it, Ralph. Between games, we were talking to Red Smith, the sports columnist of the New York Herald Tribune, and Arthur Daly, the sports columnist of the New York Times. And they both were saying that this has been one of the great things of the sports season, actually, the way that these fans have come on. And Red Smith said that he was especially interested to see that these are not Dodger fans and Giant fans. These are Met fans who have turned out. He said he was watching very closely during the introductions to see what would happen when the Dodgers come back to the Polo Grounds. He said these are New York Met fans who filled the stadium. And Ralph, look at this stadium right now. They're still packed and jammed, and they've been here. And here is the official attendance here today. The official paid 55,704. Service 9,033. Total attendance 56,637. A tremendous crowd at the Polo Grounds here this afternoon. Tommy Davis is at the plate, and he takes the call, strike one, as Bob Miller fires it in. Score tied here 3-3 at the top half of the 4th inning. As again, Miller's set to work the curveball. It's hit on the ground to Chacon. It's short. He bobbles it, picks it up, fires it on to Hodges. He's out at first base. He is out at first base. Davis grounding out. Emilio Chacon to Gil Hodges. Chacon bobbled the ball for a moment. Had it in his glove, dropped it, picked it up, fired it on to Hodges in time to get Tommy Davis, and he is no slouch in getting down to first base. Here's Ron Fairley at the plate. He had the 3-run home run. He's had a big day, Ron Fairley. Bob Miller winds and fires. The pitch is inside. That had him hitting the dirt on his chest. Brought that one inside and low. Actually, he skipped rope. Hit on his chest. He's up and pushing himself off now as Miller turns and looks around the outfield. More than 56,000 fans at the Polo Grounds this afternoon. Oh, boy. Here's a swing and a foul ball. Off the bat of Fairley. It is 1-1. Going to He's underneath waiting, and Joe Christopher takes it for the out. Well, they haven't been many times this afternoon. They've managed to get Ron Fairley out, but they have him out of there right now. For the second out, two away, and Frank Howard is coming up for the Los Angeles Dodgers in the top half of the fourth inning. Big Frank is a right-hand batter. Been up one time in this ball game, and Miller struck him out. There's a swing and a foul ball. Strike one. Here's a swing and a foul ball off to the left. The Dodgers won the first game here this afternoon by a score of 13-6. And the second game is now in the top half of the fourth inning, tied 3-3. Swing and a miss. He struck him out for the second time today to retire the side. 3 strikeouts for Bob Miller as he gets the side out in order again here in the top half of the fourth inning. The Dodgers are out with no runs, on no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 3 1/2 innings of play, at the Polo Grounds, the score is the Los Angeles Dodgers 3 and the New York Mets 3. But here at the Polo Grounds, the crowd is buzzing, as you can hear, with the New York Mets coming up in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Harry Cheedy, right-hand batting catcher, is at the plate. Padres fires, and the pitch misses low for ball one. Popping out of the glove of John Roseburn, rolling out in front of the plate. Cheedy leading off for the New York Mets. There's a pitch, taken high. Ball two, it's 2-0. One of the all-time great crowds at the Polo Grounds in New York. Here's a drive going deep to center, and it's being chased over there by Willie Davis, and he makes the catch in deepest center field. In front of the bleacher area, Harry Cheedy teeing off, but hauled down by Willie Davis in spacious center field. New York Mets have been hitting Padres well the last couple of innings. That ball was well hit. And this is Joe Christopher coming up. He's nothing for one. He forced Charlie Neal in the second inning. Score is tied 3-3. And the pitch is in there for a called strike one to Joe Christopher. Batting number 8 in the batting order for manager Casey Singles Mets. Pitch comes in low and gets away, rolls off. And right now, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause now for station identification.
This is your New York Met station in Schenectady, WGY 810 on your radio dial.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at the Polo Grounds. 1-1 to count to Christopher. He watches low and away and takes ball two. It's 2-1. Ron Fairley started the Los Angeles Dodgers off in this ball game with a 3-run home run to give them 3 early runs, but the Mets have come back to tie it 3-3. Here's a swing and a foul ball. Coming back and out of play. It's 2-2 now. Joe Christopher. Home runs by Gil Hodges and Jim Hickman in the bottom half of the third inning. Tied this ball game up. That pitch is taken high. It's 3-2 now to Christopher with nobody on and 1 man out. New York Mets, the only team in the major leagues that has not been shut out this entire baseball season. This will be a payoff pitch from left-hander Johnny Padres to right-hand batter Joe Christopher. Padres is into the windup, and here's the pitch. It's taken for a called strike 3. He struck him out. That is strikeout number 2 today for Christopher, for one time. Up to third. We're in the bottom half of the fourth inning at the Polo Grounds in New York. You missed those attendance figures. The paid attendance here this Memorial Day, 55,704. Service tickets, 933. Total attendance, 56,637 at the Polo Grounds. Call strike one, the fastball, fired in by John Padres. Padres in his first year in professional baseball with Hazard, Kentucky, and the Mountain States League won 21 games. Swinging a ground ball back to the mound. It is taken by Padres. The full pivot, the left-hander throws him out at first. So Miller has grounded out pitcher to first. Padres gets the Mets out in order on the bottom of the fourth with no runs on, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 4 full innings of play, the score is the New York Mets 3 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 3. Here's the announcement of the attendance. The largest crowd in the major leagues this season, says the announcement, here at the Polo Grounds. It is the largest crowd at the Polo Grounds since September 6, 1942, and the largest crowd in the major leagues this year at the Polo Grounds. Say there's no time like the present, and what better way to use it than to pour yourself a tall, cold glass of Rheingold. You know, Rheingold is beer should taste, and dry tells you why. So enjoy a friendly glass of Rheingold Extra Dry along with the game. And enjoy baseball right here at the Polo Grounds as these 56,000 fans are doing this afternoon. They'll be open for business again tomorrow night, the Dodgers and the Mets. Game time 8 p.m. and then the San Francisco Giants will be in here. Former tenants of the Polo Grounds, the Giants will be coming back to their old home on Friday night at 8 p.m. The Giants will be here for a doubleheader on Saturday, a single game on Sunday. Willie Mays again will be cavorting in center field. Orlando Cepeda will be here. Alvin Dark, the manager of the Giants now, and on his coaching staff, Larry Johnson, the pitching coach. Wes Westrom will be at first, and Mighty Lockman will be his coach at third. A lot of familiar faces here at the Polo Grounds Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. And you can purchase your ticket at Grand Central Station, at Pennsylvania Station. You can make ticket reservations at any Howard Clothes store. Here is John Roseborough at the plate to lead off now for the Los Angeles Dodgers in the top half of the fifth inning as Bob Miller dips into the windup. And here's the pitch. It's taken in there. Fastball for a call strike one to Roseborough. He's been up one time and Miller struck him out. He watches that one outside. It's 1-1 now to John Roseborough. Leo DeRocha moving around there in the coaching lines at third base with the familiar number 2 on his back. Greg Malevy, the coach at first for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Walter Austin, of course, runs the club from the dugout. Here's a swing and a fly ball to left field, curving over. Frank Thomas is chasing it, and Thomas makes the catch in the warning track for the out. Left-hand batter, John Roseborough, with an opposite field fly ball to Thomas in left. One away, and Larry Burright, the second baseman, is coming up. He has been up one time, and he flied out to right field. Bob Miller is looking in to get a sign from Harry Cheedy. Dips into the windup, and here's the pitch. Swung on, and there's a ground ball going to Charlie Deal at second. He plays to Hodges. Burright's out. So with 2 away and nobody on, Johnny Padres advances from the dugout, stops in the on-deck circle, picks up a couple of bats from Maury Wills, swing him as he comes on the way up. Hodges went out. So Hodges at first base in the second inning. He's a left-hander all the way. Wears number 22 on his back. Johnny Padres, a big hero with the Brooklyn Dodgers, especially in 1955. Pitched that last game, 2-0 shutout against the Yanks. There's a swing and a foul ball coming back out of play. That was the 7th game victory that made the Dodgers champions of the world for the first time, and Johnny Padres was the hero, the man who was the winning pitcher. Here he is at the plate, back in New York at the Polo Grounds. Here's a ground ball going to the right side. Hodges is going to have to play it to Miller. He scoops it over, and he's out at first base. Gil Hodges scooping it up like a vacuum cleaner, and 2, handing it on over to Miller covering for the out, as Miller again gets the Dodgers out in order with no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 4 and 1 half innings to play at the Polo Grounds in New York. Second game of a doubleheader. The score is the Los Angeles Dodgers 3 and the New York Mets 3. You know, fans, any time is a good time to enjoy the brisk, bright flavor of Rheingold. But it goes especially well with these wonderful days coming up, just like today. Yes, sir, wonderful days call for the wonderful taste of Rheingold Extra Dry. A taste that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. And dry tells you why. It tells you that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costly way. Brewed extra dry to be extra refreshing. So better stock up now and have plenty of cool, refreshing Rheingold Extra Dry on hand. Enjoy those wonderful days with the wonderful beer, Rheingold Extra Dry. As we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning, the New York Mets will have the head of the batting order up. Elio Chacon, Felix Mantilla, and Gil Hodges. 56,637 fans here this afternoon, and I don't think very many of them have left. Looking around the ballpark, there are still standees out on the ramps on either side of the scoreboard, people still standing up in back. Here's the pitch to Chacon, and it's in there for a called strike 1. I'm sure we don't have to tell you that this is a crowd that is very much alive here in the second game of a Memorial Day doubleheader. This is a baseball crowd. Swinging a ground ball. It's going to Murray. Will takes a bad hop. He knocks it down, throws to first. He got him at first base. It took a bad hop. Murray Will straightens up, batted it down, picked it up to on to first in time to get Chacon by the barest of margin. One away, nobody on, and Felix Mantilla coming up for the Mets with the score tied. The Dodgers 3 and the Mets 3. Dodgers won the first game by a score of 13-6. Gil Hodges is now on deck for the New York Mets. Johnny Padres into the windup. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Ken Padres is set to work. Let up, and this one hits the plate. Bounds in for ball 1. It's 1-1. Padres pump stand pitches. Foul back onto the screen. 1-2. That the Dodgers opened up their new Dodger Stadium at Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles this season on April 10th. They played their first ball game there. Pitch is in there for a called strike to Mantilla. Scored as a strikeout for Padres, his third of the day. 2 men out, nobody on for the Mets, and Gil Hodges is coming up. Listen to the hand that Gil Hodges is getting. Hodges had a 2-run homer here in the 3rd inning. He had turned his sparkling play defensively, and he hit a home run in the first game today. Hodges has now hit 368 career home runs. He now trails Ralph Kiner by only 1. Kiner, of course, hit more home runs than any right-hand batter in the history of the National League, 369. That pitch is in there for a called strike. Hodges now has hit 368. We were asking Ralph earlier today how he felt about it. He said, you got to put your money on Hodges. Strike 1 count. He watches high for ball. It's 1-1. Well, the Houston Colt 45s and the Chicago Cubs are through 13 innings, and they are still tied up. Justice pitching for Houston and Barney Schultz for Chicago. 6-6 tie through 13 in that ball game. 1-1 the count to Big Gil Hodges at the plate as Johnny Padres is looking in to get a sign from John Roseborough. He has it. Here's the pitch. Swung on and that's a drive going deep to left field. It's a high fly ball. Tommy Davis back, but he cannot get it. It's a home run for Hodges. Number 369. And he is tied China. Gil Hodges is now tied Ralph Steiner in the matter of career home runs, 369. And the Mets are out in front of this ball game by a score of 4-3. A tremendous wallop, a high fly ball that landed in the upper deck down the line. The third home run of the day for Gil Hodges against the team with which he spent 15 years, the Dodgers. Here's Frank Thomas to play. Check swing foul off the end of the bat. Strike one count to Frank Thomas. Hodges' home run came with 2 men out, nobody on base, which the Mets out in front by a score of 4-3 here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Padres again is set to work. That pitch is low and inside. And Thomas moving back. Listen to the stands buzz here at the Polo Ground. Ralph kind of said Hodges is providing him the most publicity he ever got. Swing and a miss, change of speed there, and the Padres have Thomas out in front. 1-2. Pitch on the way. Swung on, and there's a pop going back of the bag at second, and the shift paid off that time. They pulled the shift on Thomas and was taken by Burright behind the bag at second to prevent Thomas from getting a blue base hit. And so the Mets are out in the bottom of the 5th with 1 run on 1 hit. The homer by Hodges. No errors and nobody left. The Mets are getting a hand, and so is Hodges as they take the field at the end of 5 innings of play at the Polo Grounds. The score of the New York Mets 4, the Los Angeles Dodgers 3. The Los Angeles Dodgers 3. Here's the announcement of Hodges' 369 home run. The announcement made that Hodges is now tied in 10th place among the all-time home run hitters, tied with Ralph Kiner. But the more important fact is that he now is tied with Kiner for the home run championship for the National League among right-hand batters, as far as career totals are concerned. And here is Murray Wells up to lead off for the Los Angeles Dodgers, the top of the batting order, and the top of the 6th inning. And the first pitch is taken for ball 1. Bob Miller is working for the New York Mets. Twice and grounded out both times. Miller again is set. Here is a ground ball going up the middle for a base hit. It is taken by Hickman, relayed in, and that is only the second hit of this ball game of Bob Miller. The only other hit the Dodgers had until that moment was the homer by Ron Fairley in the 1st inning. So we are in the 6th, and that is the first hit of Bob Miller. That's the 1st inning. He retired 13 batters in a row after Fairley hit his home run. Now the Dodgers have the potential go-ahead run on first. It's carried by the base-stealing champion of the National League, Murray Wells. Speed galore, and a bat manipulator at the plate, Jim Gilliam. A throw over to first. I'll say this, Hodges puts that ball on you in a hurry. He wastes no time in getting it to the point where the business is transacted. But Murray Wells is back safely, diving back in. Bob Miller likes to hold him close. Another throw over to first base. If they can shorten him up by 1 step, the purpose is achieved, or if they can tire him out 1 breath, the purpose is achieved. Time called as Jim Gilliam has stepped out of the batter's box. Gilliam's a switch hitter, of course, batting left against right-hander Bob Miller. Pitch is inside for a ball. He's a bat manipulator, and they like to do all sorts of things. They like to hit and run a lot. This pair, because Gilliam has good speed himself. And you can send Murray Wells, of course, with the thought that if If no contact is made, he's still got an excellent chance of stealing the base for you. Pitch is a curveball, and it comes inside. 2 balls and no strikes now to Gilliam. Of course, the great advantage of a man like Murray Wills on a ball club is that once on base, he may worry the pitcher to death and may make it a great deal easier for the man at bat. Wills' call time is straighten out the dirt there a little bit off the bag. 2 balls and no strikes. This time is back in again, and Gilliam is standing in, waving the wagon tongue. And Murray Wills leads it first. Throw over. He dives back in safely. There's nobody out for the Dodgers batting in the top half of the 6th inning. The Mets leading by a score of 4-3. The Dodgers won the first game by a score of 13-6. He's running. Here's a swing and a ground ball going through the hole into left for a base hit. Mike Thomas up with it. Murray Wills holding at second. Elio Chacon on the left-hand batter was shaded over toward the bag, and the ball went through the hole between short and third for a base hit. So now the Dodgers have runners at first and second. Nobody out, and Willie Davis coming up. Willie Davis is a speedster. So what does he do? Well, the Mets want to talk that over themselves, and Felix Mantilla and Bob Miller are getting together on how they would play the bunted ball down the third baseline. Harry Chidi out there also. And now Craig Anderson is up and throwing in the bullpen for the New York Mets. Craig Anderson up and throwing in the bullpen for the New York Mets. Willie Davis done up twice in this ballgame without a hit. Rangy left-hand batter. Bob Miller is into the stretch. Runners leading first and second. And now Bob Miller stepped off the rubber, faked the throw at second, and then faked the throw to first, but Hodges was not covering the bag at first. He had already crept in to prepare to charge on the anticipated bunt attempt of Willie Davis. So Harry Chidi has gone out now to check with Bob Miller. Tommy Davis kneeling in the on-deck circle for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Miller now is into the stretch position. Willie Davis bunts the ball into the air. Foul ball. Down toward Leo DeRocher, coaching at third, and Leo comes over to pick up the ball. Looks at it. Fires it on to Al Foreman, the umpire behind the plate. It's strike one. Davis was bunting. He squared around. He bunted it, trying to dump it down the third baseline. He bunted it up into the air. Foul ball. No chance to make a play on it. Speed on the bases. Murray Wills, the base runner at second, and Jim Gilliam, the base runner at first for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Drysdale is throwing in the bullpen for the Dodgers, just loosening up, the tall right-hander. Here's the pitch. He squares around the butt, takes it high for ball one. It's 1-1. So on successive pitches, Davis has squared around the butt. Hodges each time has been charging defensively from his position at first. Charlie Neal has been moving over to take throw at first. Ken Miller is looking in, has the sign. He's into the stretch. Runners leading. And here's the pitch. He bunts it off foul. It's a strike 2 count. Now 1-2. As the pitch came in a little high, and he tried to bunt it instead right down into the dirt, and it came on back. So now 1-2 to Willie Davis. Manager Walter Austin has been trying to have him move those runners up. Davis coming back into the batter's box. Bob Miller looking around now, has a sign. He's into the stretch position. 1-2 pitch. And away. It is ball 2. 2-2 now to Willie Davis. Most of the crowd that showed up here early today still in their seats and buzzing right now. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch swung on and has a drive, and it's taken by Chicago. A double play. A third. A triple play. A triple play. A triple play. A line drive to Chacon. Over to Mancia. And on to Hodges at first. A triple play. Rolled off by the New York Mets before 56,000 fans at the Polo Ground. A triple play. A line drive. Elio Chacon went as high into the air as he could. they come out of the top half of the sixth inning. So in the top of the sixth, the Dodgers had no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 5.5 innings, the score is the New York Mets 4 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 3. But you know, fans, every time I hear somebody say, you ain't seen nothing yet, I get the feeling he must be talking about these amazing Mets. Here's a young club that's going to make history here in New York, and they're doing it right now. And when I tell you, you ain't tasted nothing yet, well, I know what I'm talking about. Refreshing Rheingold. Yes, sir, you don't know how good a beer can be until you've tasted Rheingold Extra Dry. You know, Rheingold has already made history here in New York because it's beer as beer should taste. And dry tells you why. 2 little words, Extra Dry, tell you why Rheingold has a taste all its own. They tell you that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costly way for a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. Why don't you enjoy a glass of Rheingold along with the game? You'll join the millions everywhere who say, my beer is Rheingold. We're going to the bottom half of the sixth inning. Hickman is at the plate. Pitch is outside for ball 1 to Jim Hickman. Pitch is low to Hickman, and it's ball 2. Johnny Padre still on the mound for the Los Angeles Dodgers as the New York Mets have pulled off a triple play in front of 56,000 fans at the Polo Grounds. Change of speed, and Hickman takes it in there for a call strike. It's 2-1. Jim Hickman had a home run in the bottom half of the third inning. A home run that at that time tied the ball game. Gil Hodges has had 2 home runs in this ball game and 1 in the first game. Again, he changed speed on him and he fouled it back. It's 2-2. The New York Mets are leading here by a score of 4-3. The Dodgers won the first game by a score of 13-6. Ground ball to the left side. It is taken at third by Gilliam. He fires on to Fairley in time to get Hickman. Jim Hickman is grounded out. Gilliam to Fairley, 1 away, and Charlie Neal is coming up. Charlie Neal did not play in the first game today. He did not arrive back in New York until after the first game had started. He had been in Longview, Texas to attend the funeral of his uncle, but is starting the second game and has been up twice. He walked and grounded out. 1 away and nobody on for the New York Mets. Well, the fans who have turned out here this afternoon have seen Gil Hodges come on to hit his 369th career home run to tie Ralph Kiner for 10th place in the all-time home run derby as a pitch low, but more importantly, tie Kiner for the mark of most home runs by a right-hand batter in the National League. And the fans have seen a triple play. Smith is outside for a ball. It's 2-0. I can tell you one thing, Bob Murphy. I got a tremendous kick out of that. I had never seen a Major League triple play.
Neither had I, Lindsay, and that's just about as much excitement as I've experienced in a long time.
All right, here's a pitch. Swung on and fouled off. 2-1.
Not to be tossing any bouquets around, but from a mechanical broadcasting standpoint, I thought you did an outstanding job because nobody can anticipate something like that.
I didn't anticipate it. I didn't believe it, as a matter of fact. Here's a 2-1 pitch. He tries to bunt it. Trying to push it down the first baseline. It's strike 2. It's 2-2. That brought Ron Fairley in out of Gallup. Well, Elio Chacon gave it everything he had. He climbed a couple of non-existent stairs to get up there to haul it down. And, of course, the speedy runners for the Dodgers were moving. It is a speed team. They get a good jump, and they had a good jump there. Pitch is inside for a ball, and on Mancilla's relay on over to Hodges. Hodges helped him all a man can help a throw by stretching out as far as he could go.
A triple play is unbelievable enough, but when you have Wills and Gilliam on base and Davis hitting and still get it, that is really something.
That's doing it in the least possible time, I think. 3-2 pitch is low, and he walked him. So Charlie Neal goes down to first with his Willie Davis way out there in front of the center field bleachers. We started to say a moment ago the Dodgers opened up their fabulous new Dodger Stadium on April 10th, and I don't have the figures right here, but if memory serves, they drew something like 53,000 to open up the new stadium. Here this afternoon, the largest major league crowd of the season, 56,637. 53,000 to open up the new stadium. Here this afternoon, the largest major league crowd of the season, 56,637. Throw to first. Charlie Neal gets back safely. Here is a foul ball down the right field line. Being chased by Fairley, hoping for a play, but he hasn't. It's in the stands now to play, and now the Dodgers have Ed Roebuck up and throwing in the bullpen. Roebuck is throwing in the bullpen for the Dodgers. We're in the bottom half of the sixth inning, and the Mets lead by a score of 4-3. Count to Harry Cheedy is strike one. Padres is into the stretch. Charlie Neal leads off the bag at first. Here's the pitch. It goes high for a ball. It's 1-1. These same two teams here again tomorrow night at 8 p.m. The San Francisco Giants in here Friday night at 8 p.m. The Giants in for a doubleheader at 1 p.m. Saturday and a single game at 2 p.m. Sunday. Over and he has Charlie Neal caught off. He caught him lean in there and he is running him back now, and Bailey has made the tag as he cut Charlie Neal off. 1-3, 4-3 if you're scoring. And Don Padres with a fine move, the left-hander of course, making the move and caught Charlie Neal off. He didn't make an attempt to get back to first. He was tapped off the bar. He kept going. Count is 1-1, says Al Foreman to Cheedy at the plate. 1-1 with two away and nobody on base. So Padres eased the situation a little bit on himself with that move right there. Excitement at the Polo Grounds. It's swinging a drive down the left field line. It is going foul. That will bring Cheedy back, and right now, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause now for station identification.
This is WGY 810 on your radio dial, the General Electric station, Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner at the Polo Grounds, where the count to Cheedy at the plate is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Christopher's on deck. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken high and tight. It's 2-2. The New York Mets leading the Dodgers by a score of 4-3. But the pitch is outside, and it's out full now to Cheedy, 3-2. Sammy Taylor is his catcher in the first game because of his defensive ability. But after the Mets got behind and he needed a little right-hand power, he brought Cheedy on. Started Cheedy in this game. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Struck him out. For Padres strikeout number 4 and the New York Mets in the bottom half of the sixth. Got no runs on, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 6 full innings of play at the Polo Grounds, the score is the New York Mets 4, the Los Angeles Dodgers 3. And now it's my pleasure to bring in, once again, who had been back and forth and watching a lot of exciting baseball this afternoon. Are you ready, Bob Murphy?
Thank you very much, Lindsay, and what an exciting ball game this has been. Many people say that Willie Davis is the fastest man in baseball. So you can imagine the speed with which the New York Mets made the triple play to get baseball's fastest man. If that be true, and of course he certainly would rank among the real speedsters in baseball. Maury Wills was on second. Jim Gilliam was on first. And Chacon made it all possible with his jumping grab of the hard liner. Neal was Johnny on the spot and made a strong throw to Hodges for the triple play. In the seventh inning, it'll be Tommy Davis leading off against Bob Miller. Fans, remember, there are seats available for the concluding game of this series right here at the Polo Grounds tomorrow night. Tickets will be on sale throughout the day at the advanced ticket window on 8th Avenue, so if you're in the neighborhood, be sure to stop by and make your ticket purchases. They'll also be on sale at Grand Central Station at the 42nd and Vanderbilt ramp and the Long Island waiting room of the Penn Station. The Giants are here Friday night, a big doubleheader on Saturday. There are seats available, and also on Sunday. Following the Sunday game with the Giants, the Mets will go on the road. They'll be in Philadelphia, Chicago, and Houston. And they return to the Polo Grounds on June 15th to open a homestand in which they will be hosting the Chicago Cubs, Milwaukee Braves, and Houston Colt 45. Field in the top of the 14th inning, the Houston Colt 45s have pushed over 2 runs. They now lead the Chicago Cubs 8-6. The Cubs coming up to hit in the last half of the 14th inning. That's a single game. Right here we're in the 7th with cleanup batter Tommy Davis stepping in against Bob Miller. The Mets in front 4-3. On the home run power of Gil Hodges. Miller using the windup. Now he's pitch. And the curve hangs a little bit high. 1 ball and no strikes. Miller at times has worked with the windup, at times without the windup during this game. Bob cranking up. Now the pitch thrown. A foul pop-up back toward the visiting dugout. Chidi hoping for a play. Over near the opening. Makes the catch. By the dugout, Harry Chidi takes the pop foul, retiring Tommy Davis. 1 away and nobody on. The batter will be Ron Fairley. Fairley hit a line drive off the facing of the upper deck for a 3-run homer in the first inning. He flied to right in the fourth, 1 hit and 2 times up. Fairley's red hot. He's hitting 12 straight games. And he's hiked his batting average well over 300. He's hitting at 347. Miller has given up only 3 hits. Inside and low, it's ball 1. After Fairley hit the 3-run homer, and all 3 of those runs were unearned as the result of an error, Miller then took a hitch in his belt and retired 13 straight hitters. Infield and the outfield, around to right. Fastball in the inside corner, a call strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets playing Ron Fairley as a full hitter. Neal back on the rim of the outfield grass. Gil Hodges deep behind first. Elio Chacon pulled over toward second. The 1-1 pitch. An off-speed delivery outside and low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Gil Hodges with 2 home runs has driven in 3 of the 4 New York runs. The other was driven in by Jim Hickman when he hit his 7th home run of the year. Gil has now hit 8 this year. Has matched his output of all last season. Here's the 2-1 pitch. In the dirt, a curve. No damage done, nobody on. And the count 3-1. With the Dodgers, the Giants in Friday night, doubleheader Saturday afternoon, single game Sunday. Bob Miller behind on the count, the 3-1 pitch. Curve is over a beauty, 3-2. Count 3-2 on Ron Fairley. Here's the payoff pitch to him, and it's ball 4. He held up on a curve, then took it in the dirt. That is the second walk given up in the game by Miller, and it brings up Frank Howard. Well, it's all over at Wrigley Field. The Colt 45s got 2 in the 14th, and they win the game over the Cubs 8-6. The winning pitcher is Dave Justy, the young right-hander, given a bonus to sign from Syracuse University, and the losing pitcher, knuckleballer Barney Schultz. Frank Howard, a dangerous hitter up. Ron Fairley on first, 1 down. Here's the pitch. Low, it's ball 1. Cleveland Indians and the Baltimore Orioles divided shutouts this afternoon in splitting a doubleheader. Pedro Ramos shut out the Birds, Cleveland winning 7-0 in the first game. Skinny Brown and Hoyt Wilhelm combined for a 5-hit shutout as Baltimore won the nightcap. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Frank Howard. Identical scores. Cleveland won the first game 7-0. Baltimore the nightcap 7-0. Now Miller up in pitching position, delivers in the dirt. Good stop by Harry Cheedy. Harry had to kind of shuffle off to his right and block that one with his chest. 2 balls and a strike. Bob Miller trying to get as much on those breaking pitches as possible. In the bullpen now, Casey Stengel has Craig Anderson and Roger Craig getting ready. Now Frank Howard goes down to get together with Leo DeRocher. 7th inning here with the score 4-3, Mets in front. They came from behind. The Dodgers scored 3 in the first inning. Big Frank Howard, right-hand hitter waiting. In comes the pitch to him, a swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He went after the fastball. Johnny Roseboro is the on-deck hitter. And then Larry Burright. Beautiful day, tremendous crowd, and a lot of excitement. Pitching 2-2. He foul-tipped the ball. Popped down to Harry Cheedy Smith. The foul tip, a catcher doesn't drop him. Have no chance to use any skill. You either catch him or you don't catch him. Time they pop out of that catcher's mitts, you can certainly not blame the catcher in any way. Even count, 2-2 on Frank Howard. The outfield set real deep. And the pitch. A high drive in deep to left, but he's going, gone. A home run. As it sailed into the upper deck in left field. The Dodgers regain the lead. They go out in front 5-4. Home runs have accounted for every run of the game. Now the hitter is Johnny Roseboro. That's only the 4th hit for the Dodgers. Taken high, it's ball 1. Miller has walked only 2 men in the game, and yet both have come back to haunt him. Bob into his windup. Down comes his pitch. Curve is hit foul on the ground. No play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Never any doubt about that smack hit by Frank Howard. It was a screamer. Still rising and sailing up toward the top of the upper deck. Now Miller's 1-1 delivery is off the outside edge. 2 balls and a strike to Johnny Roseboro. Roseboro has been called out on strikes and flied to left. He's 0 for 2. Roger Craig and Craig Anderson Anderson, both warming up seriously in the New York Mets bullpen. Roebuck continues for the Dodgers. A ground ball hammered hard right at Charlie Neal. Charlie's up with it. He begs to Gil Hodges, 2 men down. Mets now trailing by a run, 2 outs, nobody on, and Larry Burright, the second baseman, is on to hit. After Tommy Davis fouled out to Harry Cheedy over by the Dodger dugout, Ron Fairley walked on 3 and 2. So near and yet so far, Bob Miller just about had Frank Howard struck out. He barely got a piece of it. It popped out of Harry's glove, and then he belts one into the upper deck for a 2-run homer. Strike 1 call to Larry Burright. The Dodgers scored 3 on 1 hit, a 3-run homer by Fairley in the first inning. The Mets tied the game in the third on a 2-run homer by Gil Hodges and a bases-empty home run by Jim Hickman. And they took the lead in the 5th inning on Gil's second home run. A squibbler hit back toward the mound, fielded easily by Bob Miller. He throws to first, the side is out. 2 runs, 1 hit. A 2-run homer by Frank Howard. No errors, 10 left on. And now it's time for the 7th inning stretch, and at the end of 6 1/2 innings, to score now is the Dodgers 5 and the New York Mets 4. And now a word from Viceroy Cigarettes.
I was at the races and the track was fast, and the horse's eye back ran dead last. I couldn't believe it, but the gal next to me had just finished picking 3 out of 3. It was plain to see I could use some advice, so I offered her a smoke, just to break the ice. She said,
I only smoke filters, but some are so mild you can hardly taste them.
and I just smiled. I said, Viceroy tastes the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Now when I go to the track, I win, because I bring along my next of kin.
Ah, that's right.
So I want you to know when I'll take all bets, if you smoke all 7 Builder cigarettes, you'll find some too strong,
Some too light.
but Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Last half of the 7th inning, Mets trailing by a run now. Joe Christopher coming up against Johnny Padres. Christopher 0 for 2 in the game, has reached on a fielder's choice and been called out on strikes. Bob Miller due up next. Roger Craig continues to work in the bullpen. Padres out of his windup, pitches. Low, it's ball 1. 2 home runs. A 3-run homer by Fairley and a 2-run homer by Howard, and the Dodgers lead 5-4. Now Padres swings out of his windup. His pitch, foul ball, back toward the screen, no play. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Saturday doubleheader with the San Francisco Giants will get underway at 1, and the Sunday single game will start at 2. Pitching 1-1. A drive hit toward the alley in left center field. Davis running for it, running, can't get it. It's in for an extra base hit. Christopher is on his way to second. He's around second. He's trying for third. Relay throw by Maury Wills. He's safe for the triple. Mets have the tying run on third. Joe Christopher. Nobody out in the home 7th. Cliff Cook is out in the on-deck circle to bat for Bob Miller, and Leo DeRocher is headed toward the mound. Larry Sherry giving the hurry-up sign to get ready out there. Leo DeRocher standing on the mound now, talking to his pitcher, Johnny Padres. Larry Sherry giving a real hurry-up sign to start getting ready, and Sherry is coming in the ball game. So Johnny Padres will be leaving the scene after pitching 6 innings. At the moment, he has given up 4 runs, allowed 5 hits. Walked 3 and struck out 4. Walter Alston going to his bullpen, trying to protect a 1-run lead here in the last half of the 7th. Dodgers 5 runs on 4 hits. The New York Mets 4 runs on 5 hits. Larry Sherry coming in. Padres getting a hand as he heads toward the dressing room. Starting by center field. For Larry Sherry, this will be his 19th appearance. Larry has worked a total of 27 and 2/3 innings. Sherry off to a good start, has won 2 while losing 1. So Larry Sherry, who has been one of baseball's top firemen, is being brought on by Walter Alston. The Dodgers dig in now to try and protect a 1-run lead, with the Mets threatening in the last half of the 7th inning. Larry Sherry warming up. And now Ed Boucher comes out on deck, and Cliff Cook comes back to the dugout as Walter Alston switches to a right-hand pitcher. Had Padres stayed in the game, Cliff Cook would have come up to hit. But now with Sherry, a right-hander, coming on, Ed Boucher will do the hitting. Ed Boucher, left-hand hitter with good power. Coming on to bat now for Bob Miller. Last year, Larry was in 53 games. The year before, 57. As long as Larry Sherry is in baseball and long afterwards, they'll long remember his great pitching in the 59 World Series against the White Sox. Now here we go. The left side of the infield pulls up tight. The right side of the infield is packed. Christopher on third, nobody out. Sherry winding. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss by Ed Boucher. Ron Peronowski, a left-hander, warming up for the Dodgers. Roger Craig and Craig Anderson both warmed up for the New York Mets. Larry Sherry, 6'2" right-hander, winds and pitches. Foul ball back toward the crowd and out of play, and now the count is strike 2. In relief, Larry Sherry has beaten the Braves and the Mets. Suffered his long setback to the Chicago Cubs. Veteran right-hander, winds and pitches. 2 high, it's ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Elio Chacon on deck. And then Felix Mantilla. The 59 series, Larry 1-2 in relief and saved the other 2. The 1-2 pitch. Outside and high, 2-2. Another breaking ball thrown by Sherry. Dodgers in front. And that's with Christopher, the tying run on third, nobody out. Christopher hit a line drive triple deep to left center, leading off. Now Sherry cranking up, the 2-2 pitch. Curve outside, ball 3. Full count, 3-2. For the payoff pitch to Ed Boucher. Ed, left-hand hitter, open stance, waits. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Ed Boucher fanned by Larry Sherry, and that'll bring up Elio Chacon. on base 6 straight times this afternoon before he was retired on the line drive to Tommy Davis in the 3rd inning of this game. Now the Dodgers bring the infield in. Be alert for anything here. Christopher on 3rd. Chacon the batter. Sherry standing behind the pitching slab, looking in now to Johnny Roseboro. 1st and 3rd in very close. Gilliam at 3rd and Ron Fairley at 1st. Taking his time. Christopher on 3rd base. He's the tying run. Here's the windup and the pitch. A line drive looping into short left field. It's going to be in for a base hit. And the game is tied up 5-5 as Elio Chacon dumps a single into left field. Elio Chacon hitting the first pitch. Seemed to hit it down toward the end of the bat. A soft liner into left field for a run-scoring single. Now the game is even again at 5-5. Felix Mantilla, the batter. Felix has 1 hit and 3 times up. That's the first run driven in this game that didn't come across as the result of a home run. Now Sherry off the stretch. Here's his pitch. There goes Chacon. Foul ball. Back upstairs and out of play. Elio and Mantilla had a play going. Chacon running. But on the hit and run, Mantilla fouls it away. Larry Sherry pitching in relief of Johnny Padres. Another exciting ball game. Tied again. This time it's 5-5. Crowd chanting for Mantilla to get it. A throw to first, not in time. Elio Chacon hurrying back. Elio has been on base 7 out of 9 times today. Pitch to him. Curve is over to Felix Mantilla. Strike 2 call. Good breaking ball by Larry Sherry, and he gets down in front of Mantilla. The Dodgers have used home runs by Ron Fairley and Frank Howard for all 5 of their runs. They have not had a man left. They have had someone on in only 3 innings of the game. In the first, the bases were cleaned on Fairley's 3-run homer. In the 6th, they had 2 men on, and Willie Davis lined into a triple play, erasing everyone. And in the 7th, Howard, with a man on, hit a 2-run homer. Hope you're planning to be here for the concluding game of the series tomorrow night. There are seats available. They will be on sale at the advanced ticket window on 8th Avenue here at the Polo Grounds, as well as Grand Central Station and the Long Island waiting room of the Penn Station. Remember, too, that for any future game here at the Polo Grounds this year, ticket reservations may be made at all Howard Clothes stores in the New York area. And when you make your ticket plans and stop by to make your reservations, be sure to include July the 14th, the Old Timers Day game between the Giants and the Dodgers in the theme of the replay of the 51 playoff series. It's the 9th inning now with Willie Davis up against Craig Anderson. Willie 0 for 3. Craig out of his windup, his pitch. Down around the knees and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. In the 9th inning, Anderson up against the heart of the Dodger batting order. A grounder hit foul down the first baseline in behind Greg Malevy, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to the speedy Willie Davis. Willie hitting .333. Tommy Davis on deck, and then Ron Fairley. and 5 in the Dodger batting order. The 1-1 pitch by Craig Anderson. He lays off of it. It's outside. 2 balls and a strike. Bob Miller worked 7 innings. Bob gave up only 4 hits and just 2 earned runs. Craig Anderson now working his 2nd inning in relief. Pitching 2-1 to Willie Davis. A drive hit down the right field line. It may go foul. Foul ball in the seats. He was out in front on that one, and the drive goes into the lower deck. A foul ball. The first game today, Willie Davis hit a home run out in right center field in the upper deck. He's the runner-up to Tommy Davis in home runs on the Dodger club. Now Anderson winds and pitches. Fouled off the fist, back up toward the crowd and out of play, 2-2. Well, in the 9th inning in Milwaukee, the Braves got a run to tie up Cincinnati, and so they go into the 10th inning tied 3-3. Milwaukee won the first game 4-3 with a run in the last half of the 9th inning. In the second game, they get a run in the last of the 9th to tie it up. Pitching 2-2. Ground ball bounced to foul down the first baseline. No play for Gil Hodges. For a fellow 38 years old playing on a very sore and a very painful knee, Gil Hodges has enjoyed a fabulous day. Made a couple of great plays to the field. He's hit 3 home runs. Pitching 2-2. Inside and low, it's ball 3, 3-2. Full count to Willie Davis, the leadoff hitter in the 9th inning. Craig Anderson cranks it up. Down Kelsey's pitch. A drive hit hard down the right field line. It may go. It does for a home run. Willie Davis hitting a drive into the upper deck and right. His 8th home run of the year, his 2nd of the day, and the Dodgers regain the lead. They go out in front 6-5 in the 9th inning. It isn't often that you see a hitter hit a drive foul into the seats and then come back and get one fair. The hitters say they usually get that one good rip. Now the batter is Tommy Davis. Fastball over, strike 1 call. The Mets in their half of the 9th inning will have Joe Christopher leading off. Then Anderson scheduled it, followed by Elio Chacon. Strike 2, a fastball on the outside corner. First base hit given up in relief by Craig Anderson, but it breaks the tie, a home run. The Dodgers have hit 3 home runs in the game, accounting for all 6 of their runs. Fairley with 2 men on, Howard with 1 man on, and now Davis with the bases clear. Breaking ball off the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This has been one of those seesaw struggles. The Dodgers led 3-0. The Mets tied it on Hodges' 2-run homer and Hickman's bases empty home run. Then Gill put the Mets ahead 4-3. The Dodgers went back in front on a 2-run homer. A broken bat pop-up towards short. Chacon is under it. Elio takes it for the out. Tommy Davis retired on a pop fly. 1 out and nobody on in the 9th. Now the hitter is Ron Fairley. Fairley hit an opposite field home run with 2 on in the first. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Has been one of the hottest of all the Dodgers during their hot streak. He now has hit safely in 12 straight. And over the 12 games, he's hitting well over 500. Ground ball lashed foul foul in behind Greg Malevy, the first base coach, and the count strike 2. Ball goes up in the field box, and the little fella gets a souvenir. In the dirt, and no damage done, nobody on. Time the Dodgers won more than 8 games in a row was in 1955, and the club won 11 in succession. Right now they're riding a 9-game streak and trying for number 10. Pitching 1 and 2 to Fairley, inside down around the knees, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Walter Alston has Phil Ortega working in the bullpen. 6-5, Dodgers leading. We're in the 9th. They took the lead on the home run by Willie Davis. A drive hit hard to left field. Frank Thomas moving back, reaches up, makes the catch. Hard line drive caught by Thomas. 2 down now in the top of the 9th. That brings up Frank Howard. He hit a 2-run homer to pull the Dodgers from behind in the 7th inning. The Mets were leading 4-3 when Howard connected with a drive into the upper deck in left field to make it 5-4. Then a triple by Christopher and a base hit by Chacon tied the game 5-5. Willie Davis has the Dodgers in front of the 9th. In the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Anderson with a windup. Down comes his pitch to Howard. Outside and low. 2 balls and no strikes. He side-armed him. Frank Howard waiting. The big right fielder lays off of it. It's outside and low. Ball 3, 3-0. Harry Cheedy squawking a bit with Al Foreman. He thought he had a strike on that last one. Will be trying to pull this game out in the last half of the 9th. Right now they're trying to retire big Frank Howard. 3-0 pitch. That's a strike. Taking a fastball. 3-1. Howard is in the midst of quite a batting surge. He had 3 hits in the opener and has 1 for 3, a home run, a big blow in this game. 3-1 pitch. And he pops the changeup high into the air, foul. It may be out of reach. Mantilla hoping for a play. Over goes Chacon, and Chacon grabs it in foul territory. He had to go around the bend of the field boxes and kind of over toward the foul corner to take it. Side out in the 9th inning. Dodgers 1 run on 1 hit. The drive into the upper deck by Willie Davis. No errors and none left on. And now at the end of 8.5 innings to score, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers 6. And the New York Mets 5. And now here's one of America's most popular singers with a musical lesson in 2 languages.
Dick Damone saying down on Mulberry Street, far and near, the one they like is Rheingold beer. Rheingold è la birra da bere, che delizia poterla godere. Dolce amara non è, ma perfetta lo è, troverate la Rheingold teste. Italian and English have the same word for refreshment, Rheingold. Remember that name when you want beer that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. Dry tells you why. Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costlier way. It's New York's favorite. It's beer as beer should taste. My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer. It's not bitter, not sweet. It's a dry flavor treat. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer? Shout!
Richie Ashburn up now to bat for Joe Christopher in the last of the 9th inning. Change in the outfield. Lee Walls replacing Frank Howard in right field. And Tim Harkness will be at first base, replacing Ron Fairley. Last of the 9th inning, the Mets need 1 to get even and 2 to win. Right now, while Barry Sherry throws in his warm-up tosses, let's pause for station identification.
This is your New York Mets station in Schenectady, WGY, 810 on your radio dial. The time now is 7 minutes past 8 o'clock. The temperature in our area is 82 degrees.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Cantor, and the pitch to Ashburn is over for a strike. Correction on the defensive changes. Fairley goes to right field, and Harkness takes over at first. Ashburn is batting for Christopher. The pitcher, Craig Anderson, is scheduled up next. Richie Ashburn. Veteran outfielder, waiting now as Sherry pitches. A line drive that is down the right field lane for a base hit. It's into the corner. Richie around first, headed for second. Here's Fairley's throw. It's going to be close to side. He's out. A great throw by Ron Fairley from the right field corner to Maury Wells. And on a very, very close play, Richie Ashburn is out at second. Well, the defensive move made by Walter Austin pays off with a big bonus on a spectacular throw by Ron Fairley, who went into the corner, and he rifled a bullet-like throw into Maury Wells, and on an extremely close play, Ashburn is out. Marv Throneberry coming up now to bat for Craig Anderson. Throneberry batting for Craig Anderson. Marv has good power. If he can get a hold of one, he could tie this contest. Dodgers in front, 6-5. We're in the last of the 9th inning. The Mets have out hit the Dodgers 7-5 in this one, but the Dodgers have hit 3 home runs. The Mets have hit 3. And here's the announcement on Marv Throneberry. Now Sherry ready. Around comes the arm. There goes the runner. The pitch outside. The peg going down the slide. Save for the stolen base. The Mets needing a run desperately takes the gamble, and Rod Kinneal steals the base. Now the tying run is in scoring position. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Felix Mantilla. Here's the stretch by Sherry and the pitch. Curve outside and low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rod Kinneal, the tying run on second. 2 down, last of the 9th inning. Mantilla swishing that bat around. Now cocks it off the shoulder. Sherry getting his sign from Roseboro. The infield and outfield straight away. And the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. The game is over. Larry Sherry struck him out with a curveball. And the Los Angeles Dodgers sweep the doubleheader as they win a real thriller in the nightcap after winning comparatively easy in the opener. A tough double loss for the New York Mets, and the Dodgers, a sizzling hot team, have now won 10 straight ball games. In the 9th inning, no runs, 2 hits, and the key was the great defensive play made by Ron Fairley in right field. Ashburn leading off as the pinch hitter lashed a drive into the right field corner, and only an absolutely perfect peg made by Ron Fairley got Ashburn on a very close play. Otherwise, that tying run would have been home. In the 9th inning, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on. We'll be back with the recap of today's doubleheader in just a minute. The final score in the nightcap, Dodgers 6 and the New York Mets 5. Well, you know, a ball player can look awfully good early in the year, but really it isn't until he's been around the league once or twice that a manager knows he's right. You know, that's a pretty good way to judge filter cigarettes, too. Give all 7 of the leaders a go-around. You'll find some taste so strong, you wouldn't know they had a filter at all. just taste so light that there's no more fun or flavor in smoking. But when you smoke Viceroy, you know you're enjoying a big league taste. Because, my friend, Viceroy tastes the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Yes, sir, Viceroy is not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Remember, there's no need now to play a wild hunch. When it comes to filter cigarettes, play the percentages. And you're sure to come up with Viceroy. Prove it for yourself. Smoke all 7 leading filter cigarettes and see how the ball bounces. I'll bet you'll find some taste too strong, some taste too light. But Viceroy's got the taste that's right. That's right, fans. Better change to Viceroy. They did not leave a single man on base in the game. For the New York Mets, 5 runs on 9 hits, 1 error, and the Mets left 6 on base. The winning pitcher in relief is Larry Sherry, who worked 3 very strong innings in relief to win his 3rd of the year against 1 loss. The losing pitcher in relief is Craig Anderson. Craig gave up only 1 base hit in the 2 innings of relief work. He looked sharp, but the 1 hit was a line drive into the upper deck by Willie Davis, and that was the ball game. Craig now has won 3 while losing 4. The Dodgers did it with the home run in the nightcap to sweep the doubleheader. They scored 3 unearned runs in the first as the result of a walk, an error, and a 3-run homer by Ron Fairley. Frank Howard hit a 2-run homer in the 7th inning to put the Dodgers in front 5-4. Then a triple by Joe Christopher and a single by Elio Chacon tied the game 5-5. And Willie Davis wins the game in the 9th inning with a home run for Willie Davis, his 2nd of the afternoon and his 8th of the year. The batting star of the afternoon for the New York Mets was 38-year-old Gil Hodges. Gil hit 1 home run in the first game and came back strong to hit 2 in the nightcap. Gil now has hit 8 for the year. His 8th this season, coupled with 361 going into the year, he has a total of 369, and now shares the distinction with Ralph Kiner of having hit more home runs than any right-hand hitter in the history of the National League. But the Dodgers are the big story. They now have won 18 of their last 22. They are riding their longest winning streak since 1955. They have won 10 straight ball games. It may be somewhat to no avail because the Giants are on their way to a doubleheader sweep. They beat the Phillies 4-3 in 12 innings in the first game, and they lead 5-2 in the last half of the 8th inning in the second ball game. Well, that's the story. A magnificent crowd, one of the top crowds in the history of the Polo Grounds, 56,637. The Dodgers won the first game 13-6. Koufax all the way for the win, and Jay Hook was the loser. They win the nightcap 6-5 on 3 home runs. The Mets also hit 3, but the Dodgers win it by 1. Remember now, seats available for tomorrow night's game between the Mets and the Dodgers. Al Jackson will be on the mound for the New York Mets, and 19-year-old Joe Moeller will be pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And that wraps up another New York Mets baseball game. We certainly hope you enjoyed it. Ryan Gold certainly enjoyed bringing the games your way. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock here at the Polo Grounds, it's the Mets and the Dodgers in the wrap-up game of the 3-game series. And we'll be here to bring you all the action. This broadcast came to you through the courtesy of Liebman Breweries, brewers since 1837, and the Brown & Williamson Tobacco Corporation. Right now, I'd like to remind you to enjoy Viceroy cigarettes. Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. That's right. Now this is Bob Murphy saying so long for Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner, our statistician Joe McDonald, and our producer Joe Gallagher, and for Rheingold Extra Dry. Those 2 little words, extra dry, tell you why Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. Why Rheingold is preferred by more New Yorkers than any other beer. Rheingold is brewed from the very choicest ingredients, brewed the long, slow, costlier way for flavor that is brisk and bright and clean clear through. So fill up your glass with an ice cold, refreshing glass of good Rheingold Extra Dry. The final scores as the Dodgers win 2, 13-6 in the opener and 6-5 in the nightcap. So long, everybody. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.